Okay, so steroid creams, we have heard all about them. We've used them. Everyone uses them, and there's been a lot of commentary about how terrible they are now, and the side effects, and how they're, I've used so many creams, and they're preventing my healing, and my skin is flaring up out of control, et cetera, et cetera. So let's talk a little bit about them and why they are still part of our treatment program. Okay, so when you first get psoriasis, what actually tends to happen is that it's triggered. We don't know what exactly triggers it, but everyone has different triggers, and there's all sorts of reasons as to why it is triggered. So you have the autoimmune gene, you're going about life, and all of a sudden you start to see a psoriasis outbreak, and it starts to flare up and it starts to spread, and this is the usual process. So what happens is that you go to your doctor, and depending on which doctor you go to, usually a GP will prescribe a steroid cream. And it is their protocol, and they have to do it, and we really have to use it, especially if it's spreading out of control. So in the beginning, I think that, for myself, I have used, so many dozens of different ones. And I think the same is true for most people with psoriasis, is that we use the cream and it does clear up, and then we get all happy, or that our skin is clear. And then we just stop using it and we figure, okay, our skin's going to stay clear. But that's actually not what happens. What happens is that our skin starts to flare up again, out of control. It starts to spread again, and we go back to the doctor, and the doctor goes, okay, well, here's a better one. Here's a stronger one. Here's a different one. And so we use it again, and yes, it's working, and we're clearing up, and it's looking great. And so then we stop, and then it once again flares up. So this particular cycle is what concerned me, because I saw this cycle happen over 20 years, and I didn't understand why doctors would knowingly give us a cream that would make our skin worse. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Doctors are supposed to help you. The medical community is supposed to be trying to help us with this disease. Why would they give us a cream that seems to just not work, and the skin just keeps flaring up and flaring up and flaring up? So I began to really ponder this question, because I got off many creams and I was 90% covered with psoriasis, which was really terrible. Here are a couple of pictures, actually. And so I continued to wonder, well, why are we still using these creams, and why are they being prescribed? And so I had a couple of discussions, and, years later, as I began to clear, and I just began to have many discussions with, thousands of people, and as well with doctors and practitioners, etc. And the steroid cream has its place. It is the go-to remedy to try to control the spreading and control the inflammation and calm everything down. And that's essentially what it does. And it does do its job of doing that. This is where the challenge comes in. The challenge I found with psoriasis is that you cannot just stop the cream. And the National Psoriasis Foundation site does talk about this. If you go to their site, they do talk about it in a section called Rebounding. I can put the link below for you. But the idea of using the steroid cream and just stopping cold, that's where the problem comes in. And so this is what I discuss actually in my book, Psoriasis Warrior. It's on Amazon. I just released it in 2020. And I do discuss how to transition off of steroid creams, if that's what you and your doctor have decided is fine for you, to begin to use natural remedies. Now, you can use natural remedies even if you're using steroid creams, but I do talk about how to transition properly off of steroids so that you don't get that massive flare-up. And this is an important point, is that the steroid cream is not going away. It's going to be here, but you should know, and you need to discuss it at length with your doctor about how to use it correctly and how to stop, once it seems to have done its job. Now, for me, what would happen is it would clear up, but then once I got off, it would flare up again. So to get through that flare-up period, I needed to transition off the steroid correctly. And I basically want to caution you that don't just make the decision of stopping medications on your own. You have to discuss it with your doctor, because once you're on a medication, that is the medical arena. You have to discuss with your doctor. What you're doing in terms of natural healing, supporting the healing process, is just supporting the healing process. So you're drinking more water, you're eating better foods, you're changing your diet. All the things that I discuss in my book are all natural healing remedies to support the healing process. But when it comes to medications, you really need to talk to your doctor and make sure that you understand all of the little points about them. That you understand how to use it, how to get off, how to stop, how to transition, all of the things. My suggestions are the natural remedies that are going to help you just to support that whole healing process. But when it talks about steroid creams, they do have a place, as long as when you are getting off of them, that you're transitioning properly off of them. And that is the key here, to prevent the flare up, the out of control flare up that happens, because basically it's a withdrawal process. The body is like looking for the steroid. It doesn't know where it is. It's not there anymore because we've stopped using it. And so we don't want to just shock our bodies like that. We want to basically slowly kind of get off slowly, so that it understands, oh, you're still there, but you haven't gone completely. So the withdrawal process that you often experience as flare-ups is really a withdrawal of the medication out of your body. But you can't just stop that cold and remain clear. It doesn't work that way. Medications really have to be controlled very carefully. So my suggestion to you is to make sure you understand how to transition off of it properly. Speak to your doctor, continue to talk to your doctor about it and what are the effects of it, and continue to support the healing process using natural remedies. So, please go to my book. I've discussed this at length. I've been through it for 20 years. I'm now completely clear, and I'm not using steroid creams for over 10 years now. So, there is a way that you can safely get off of them and get them out of your body. And you have to just make sure that you're doing that properly. And then what I found was, perhaps there will be a day where we can actually combine the use of, steroid creams with natural healing, and combine the two so that we can get the effects that we need, which is to suppress the inflammation and calm everything down. But then we can also get off without having this massive flare up that actually always happens and freaks everyone out and is actually very debilitating, because I've known people to go into serious forms of psoriasis, like erythro, for instance, which is a very serious form where you get that red skin all over your body, and it can, cause you to get hospitalized, and all sorts of other effects.